BKB 57, Anarchy in the UK. That's this Saturday, July 25th. And with me today, the CEO of Bare Knuckle Boxing, David Tetreault. David, how we doing?
We're doing fantastic, Jake. Thanks for having me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thanks for joining. The pleasure is all mine. Obviously, fight week, but before we get into this week, I think it's important to mention last week. Huge event for you guys, BKB 56, LA, Victor Ortiz debut. Did everything live up to the expectations?
Yeah, I mean, Victor really came and put on a boxing clinic inside the Trigon. Every ounce of him was showcased, from the courage to the skill to the heart. And in doing that, you know, he came out victorious, and he really showed the world that boxers of his pedigree, former world champions that still, you know, are youthful, can compete in our sport and can bring in audiences in a big way. We had a massive sellout. We were at 110% capacity at the Novo, which is incredible. And it was a fantastic night. Fantastic. And it was also the debut of Jojo Diaz as a bare knuckle fighter. You know, both Victor and Jojo, I have a history with them. You know, during my tenure at Golden Boy, I touched both of those careers in big ways. And having them here in bare knuckle is it's just amazing. It's a full circle moment for me. And Jojo did extremely well in his debut, and both are off to a very good start in the bare knuckle world.
And this card this weekend, BKB 57, is getting, I feel like, extra attention, a lot of attention. I'm seeing more casual fans talking about it, more media talk about it. I saw Lauren Mack join the team. That was big news this week. The power of social media seems to be playing in your guys' favor. Is this like going as planned, so to speak?
It's absolutely going as planned. You mentioned Lauren Mack, you know, coming in as our CMO. I've known Lauren for years. Golden Boy, Triller, BKFC, and now at BKB. Him and I were always in a lot of communication just on the sport, from boxing to MMA and now to bare knuckle. And Lauren and I were speaking about him joining us, basically, I'd say, for the past 6 months. We found the right moment. We found the right deal structure. And I've empowered him as the CMO to take over everything about the brand, from the way it's communicated to consumers in traditional media, to the way our stories are told with short and long form content, to the way in which our social media evolves across all of the major platforms. Yeah. That's all on him. And also the excellence that he has in communications and PR. And, you know, he's just been on the job for a week, and we're already bearing fruit from his presence. You know, like I said, I'm sitting on a double-decker bus here in the UK. We've hit all the major landmarks, from Big Ben to Parliament to the Churchill statue, the London Eye. We have our fighters facing off on the top story. We're blaring music. The crowds just, you know, in and around the shopping areas are just going crazy for it. And I attribute that all to Lauren. You know, it was his idea, and he blossomed it in a very short order, and wrapped the bus, you know, with BKB and all of our fighters' faces. It's an incredible day for us. It's another inflection point. You know, last week in LA was our Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. This week coming to the UK, it's the dawn of our World Cup.
I love it. Very, very festive and seasonal with the World Cup just going on there in England too. And just while we're talking about the company, I'm curious, like, ultimate goals, because as a fan, to me, it's clear who your guys' number one competitor is in the bare knuckle world, right?
Yes.
Is your goal to be the number one bare knuckle promotion in the world, or is it more than that?
Well, I mean, that's the overarching goal, right? And we're already doing that. We already feel that we are the number one bare knuckle promotion on the planet, especially when you take a look at the way that we're shaping out this roster. Recent signings include Amado Vargas, Fernando Vargas, Mick Terrell re-signed with us, Lee Selby, Victor Ortiz, Yuri Gamboa. You take a look at that roster, and that roster has competitive opportunities in traditional boxing if we chose to. That's a big, big step for us as promoters. But we look at ourselves more than just promoters. We look at ourselves as a sport and entertainment entity.
Yeah.
We're following the tenets of, major entities that are out there like Manchester United or the Boston Red Sox. We're looking at what they do, the way that they run their business. We're creating ecosystems that didn't exist just a month ago. We just carved out a massive partnership with TikTok Live and their sports arena. And in doing so, we dedicate our prelims to exclusive broadcast on TikTok Live, working closely with their executives across the board. They're in our production truck. They're working with us on the way that this is translating, the way that this is getting distributed across the world. We hired a great commentary team in Ellie Dempster, who is a slap champion, and Taylor Feingold. We added Emiliano Vargas to the booth just this last weekend on Saturday. Really heightened all of that. We had Arnold Barboza there. Really heightened that. So, we see ourselves and we know that we are the number one bare knuckle promotion company on the planet, but we're more than that. We're a sports and entertainment company that's driving brand. We have an athlete's first ethos. And when I say that, I mean it. And you can speak to the Vargases, you can speak to Lee Selby, you can talk to all of them. I sit down with them and I talk to them about what their aspirations are with bare knuckle. I understand, some still have aspirations in traditional boxing and wanting that. I welcome that. I encourage that. I want to work on that with them. I want them to become world champions in both sports. And that's part of the way that we operate. We're not here to lock people down into contracts where they're fighting once or twice a year. We'll fight them as frequently as possible based on their health. And we will encourage them to take fights in boxing. I still work very closely with entities like Queensberry, Matchroom, Top Rank, PBC. All of them we're partnering with. We're looking at ways in which we come in and we're infused into their fight weeks. And we're the Friday night event right after the weigh-ins, leading into mega fights. We are bare knuckle boxing, and that's the thing. Our heritage is boxing, and we'll continue with that. We'll continue signing boxers. We'll continue signing fighters like Adele Altamimi from Bellator, like Aspen Ladd. That's none of that is going to stop, but we're going to round it out in a very intelligent way with key boxers, both from the UK and also the US and also Mexico. I just formed a partnership with Zanfer Boxing. We'll be doing our first event with them September 19th in Tijuana. And Julian Fernandez, who's our cruiserweight champion, will be defending his world title in front of his home crowd in Tijuana. And that's what we're about. We're about exploiting everything that is bare knuckle in the right venues, in the right hubs, with the right audiences, and with the right fighters on top of the card.
My last question about this before I ask you about this coming weekend. You mentioned signing big name boxers and also growing like homegrown bare knuckle guys. You also said, Aspen Ladd's joining. You got some more MMA people over there too. BKFC had some success, right? Signing some UFC guys off the bat, getting that the casual fan. Is that something you guys, I don't know if it considers the right word, but an avenue you plan on going down at all, getting like ex-MMA legends involved?
Yeah, I mean, look, if the right legend comes around and, their health is in a good place, their age is in a good place, they're connecting with audiences the right way, we'll definitely sign them. But I'm not just going to sign people from UFC or PFL based on the fact that they fought in those organizations. There has to be a high-level value proposition that they bring to the organization that's going to resonate with our audiences, that's going to help us grow our audiences. In fact, when we did our LA event, we had a very, very comprehensive marketing plan, and that marketing plan bled into Orange County, the home of many UFC fighters,
Yeah.
and it was conscientious the way that we went at it, because it was a dual pronged plan. The plan was to hit those fighting fans of UFC and PFL out of Orange County, and those that train down there. It's a mecca for a lot of those fighters. But it was coupled with a very intelligent plan to target the Latino boxing audience in and around LA.
Sure.
You put the right fighters on that. And like I said, we were at 110% capacity because of the intelligence that went into our marketing and understanding our audiences and understanding our fighters. That's what it's about.
In short, why do fans, specifically new fans, home of fight where this interview is, a lot of MMA fans, a lot of also casual fans. So
Yeah.
this is an opportunity. Why should these people be tuning into this card?
Well, I mean, I think that, outside of the fact that we know that it's an incredible product, the way that we built it from top to bottom, the way we tell stories, the way we produce our live event, the efforts that go into our storytelling, our graphics packages, that's a big part of it. But the true essence for what bare knuckle boxing is that it's a visceral sport.
Yep.
That both men and women can feel and sense. And when our fighters are entering the ring with this ultimate respect that they have for one another going into the fight, they respect each other during the fight and after the fight, that brotherhood resonates. I don't even have to speak to it. It's just there. You see it, you feel it. And it goes into the gladiatorial nature of what this sport is all about. And when two men or two women are squaring off in the trigon without gloves on, they're telling a lot about themselves. They're going into these battles to tell a story, and they view the world differently than some of us. And that's the intrigue, and that's why people tune to it, coupled with the fact that it's an unbelievably fast-moving sport that clicks with the Gen Alphas, the Gen Zs, and the Millennials. Differently than UFC or any of the other MMA that's out there. This generation is looking for stand-up fights on their feet, and nobody goes to the ground. They're brawling, and they're using high level skill to win these fights.
Well, and I can attest to as a fan, the Trigon, having corners involved with bare knuckle. Whew, it's a good show. It's a good show, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely tune in. David, we're at about the 15-minute mark. I could have this conversation all day. Appreciate your time. Before I get you out of here, I have to ask one, clickbaity type of question, but I'm also curious. What's your dream BKB fight? You can sign two guys. Who is it?
Yeah, I spoke to this just the other day, and here's my dream fight. It's Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. Okay.
Ooh, bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle. And what I can tell you is, look, I'm very close to Igis Klemas, who manages Alexander. We've had conversations. The three of us were in Italy last year for a bare knuckle fight. We sat together, we discussed it. Wasn't the right time for him.
Sure.
But there's an open door there. And recently I've had a number of conversations with Spencer Brown, not just in regards to Tyson, but in regards to us partnering with him, with other fighters that he manages around the world. He's got some deep connections to fighters that make sense to join our stable. But ultimately, we have talked about the idea of Tyson facing off against Alexander, and that is the ultimate dream fight. You talk about gladiatorial, that takes it to a whole new level.
So there is an avenue where this dream could be a reality.
There absolutely is. You can talk to the fighters. These are real conversations, but it's all about timing, and it's going to be on their timetable, not mine.
Well, my fingers are crossed right here. That would be awesome. But David, plenty more to look forward to in the meantime. Before I get you out of here, anything you want to say to all the fans looking forward to this?
No, I just, first of all, I want to thank you so much, Jake, for having me. I really absolutely appreciate it. I'm a big fan of your work. It's incredible that you're giving us this platform as we're growing it. And as you see, we are the biggest and best bare knuckle organization on the planet. The last thing I'll say is that anarchy in London, anarchy in the UK has begun. and it will culminate Saturday night at the Indigo at the O2 Arena. There are some tickets that are available, but they're going fast. If you want to see Mick Terrell back in the ring and the Vargases,
All right, we lost David a little bit at the end there, so just give the man a proper outro. David Tetreault, BKB 57 this weekend. Great interview. Hopefully, we can have him on the channel a lot more because I really do believe BKB stock is only going up from here. So make sure to tune in July 25th, BKB 57, live from London. Thank you guys.